What's going on, fellow A-plusers? It is I, your more phenomenal host, Adam Perez, back once again with another review as we're set to go ahead and get into episode number 16 of DonBrothers. You might be saying, Adam, you're kind of behind. Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely doing some catch-up, to certainly say the least. I believe the newest episode that's currently out is number 19, so I definitely will be spending this week, and, well, hopefully I'll wrap it up this week, if not next week. It's been kind of crazy around here with my focus turning over to A+ Hero Report, where there is a link in the description box below, along with me having to work out of the office from time to time. I am really used to working remotely, but I've had to work into the office every now and then, and just fatherhood in general. It's certainly been a pretty busy schedule around here over the past 3 weeks or so, but we are in the process of certainly playing catch up, ladies and gentlemen, and I've already seen a couple of hints, some teases in regards to certainly what's to come in some upcoming episodes, so we definitely are going to make it a priority to certainly go ahead and catch up and finish this particular DonBrothers series, because trust me when I say my departure from this series has nothing to do with the show quality. I love this show to death. Honestly, it's probably up there easily in my top 5, might even be top 3 right now of Super Sentais that I've certainly watched. I'm enjoying it that much, so I really highly want to go ahead and get caught up and dive into it. So today, guys, we're here to talk episode number 16. One that I enjoy is this is really the first episode now that Momoi Taro is in fact back, right? We had him deceased for a short period of time, got the opportunity to meet Don Dragoku, who is in fact now sort of the 6th ranger, if you will, to this particular group in Momotani, and so this is the opportunity now where we get to see him and Momoi Taro sort of in the same camp, on the same team now, and just kind of seeing how this team certainly forms. So let's go ahead and dive into episode number 16, which one that I certainly enjoyed. There were aspects of this episode where I wish I got to see a little bit more of the supporting cast. I honestly thought the Kiji brother, or I should say Tsuyoshi stuff that we got in here was actually pretty interesting, especially with his wife Miho. We'll definitely talk about that here in just a little bit, but this episode felt very much like it was carried by Momotani, or Jirou, if you will, in regards to some revelations in regards to him, how he's clearly trying to fit into this group, if you will, the idea of him copying everything that Momoi Taro was certainly doing in this episode, and getting the opportunity to see that there is certainly a completely different side to this man that definitely begs a lot more questions that I think Oni's sister will certainly continue to have, right? She even brought it up in the beginning of this episode to Momoi Taro about the idea that something's kind of off about this dude. We even got a flashback sequence when we saw the moment of Jirou mention the idea, you know what I should do? Execute you two. And even, at first I was like, man, that's a pretty intense joke, but apparently they're running with it, and it definitely was certainly enough to alarm Oni, to definitely bring it to Momoi Taro's attention. And this is certainly the episode in which even he realizes that there's certainly more going on with Momotani than even he certainly suspected, because honestly there were moments in here that were extremely creepy and I truly loved it. And just quick shout out to the cinematography in this episode. I was really impressed with some of the technical aspects of how they filmed it in here, especially the Momotani Jirou stuff, as he sort of comes out of the shadows creepily with like a deeper voice, telling his story, if you will, or the tale of Momoi Taro and Jirou, if you will. I really love the way that they kind of put that together, and really changing it up for the Jirou character. And I even love some of the shot selections that they had in here, like specifically the dialogue between Sonoi and Momoi Taro in here. I love the idea that they sort of they put the camera behind this big sculpture piece, and you get to see both the characters sort of through the different angles of that sculpture piece. I actually thought that was a pretty impressive shot selection there also. So some really great dynamic storytelling and camera work in here, and it definitely made for another fantastic episode. But let's talk about this a little bit and really dive into some of these characters, specifically when it comes to Momotani, as he's a little bit selfish, if you will, a little bit arrogant for sure. The idea that this guy is wanting to throw himself his own sort of welcoming party to the, to the team. Winds up handing out invites to everybody, hopefully having everybody come. But his downfall in this episode is certainly the idea of trying way too hard, right? I mean, he clearly looks up to Momotaro in his life, certainly wants to be a little bit like him, to the point to where if he has to replace him, he wants to be that guy. He personally feels like he is the next one up to replace Momotaro, and we kind of saw that in the episode or two with Momotaro out of commission, if you will. He really kind of stepped up into that leadership position, if you will, to go ahead and certainly get the job done, wound up saving Momotaro. But now that Momotaro is back, Taro certainly feels some type of way about the idea of like being replaced, if you will. So he's already annoying Momotaro in the sense of imitating and copying everything that he's doing as he's trying to be a sponge and really learn from Momotaro, but it definitely comes across as very annoying, if you will. And again, the fact that he even goes out to the other companions, right? I believe Oni's sister he presents with like some manga that he wind up drawing, even gave her the little jab of like, hey, if you want to plagiarize it sometime, you can, like just really insulting. The idea that he even tries to make a haiku with Saru brother a little bit also, right? Just kind of really getting under the skin of everybody. And I think the nail in his own coffin is even the Kiji brother stuff, where he is trying to help Kiji brother not only with his job and trying to be his hype man, if you will, but just doing the complete opposite. It's really not until his comment about Miho that really puts Tsuyoshi just like in a completely different trajectory. The fact that we got Momotani here saying, oh, so it's a woman's fault. Okay, have you ever thought about the idea of just dropping her, like just breaking up with her? Him clearly not understanding the connection that Kiji brother and his wife have in regards to the love that they certainly share for each other. And look, we're used to seeing Kiji brother get pissed off about anybody talking wrong to Miho. And he definitely got into Momotani's face in regards to some of the things that he wind up saying. So, it kind of honestly felt like a slap in the face, even to me as a viewer, when we do get to the welcome party and you've got Momotaro on one side and he's like, hey, everybody else isn't coming, and he just hands the invitations back. Like, that's just gotta be like, to your ego, to your own personality, that's just got to be devastating. The fact that you're trying so hard but not realizing that, bro, you're trying like way too hard. It is one of those things where when I think of Momotani, or Jirou, if you will, however you want to call him, it feels like he's definitely trying too hard to be something that he's certainly not, right? Like he's having a hard time of just sort of finding and being himself, almost like he's always grown. Well, first off, he's always kind of grown up, I think, with this mentality of, I'm going to be a hero that's going to replace somebody else and be the hero sort of and leader of that particular team, right? So he already has this idea of what his identity is certainly supposed to be. And now that he is a part of this team, I don't want to say his identity is lost, but when he doesn't have that identity, what does he certainly fall back on, right? And to be able to see that as much as he's trying to imitate and get along with the rest of the companions, he's coming across as extremely annoying, trying too hard sort of thing. And then when you've got the team leader himself saying, look, nobody can replace me, right? Like, I'm one of one. Like, there's nobody else quite like me, and there certainly isn't, to certainly say the least. But I also think the message, while maybe it came across a certain type of way, because we all know that Momotaro has no filter and no understanding of how feelings work, the idea, I think what Momo is just simply trying to say is that, look, we're all unique individuals, right? Like we all are who we're supposed to be. And for me, it definitely felt like Momotani felt kind of lost in that moment, in the sense of, wait, so I'm just a companion, right? Like, I'm nothing more important than that, if you will. And when you've got somebody like him who is very selfish and very arrogant, yeah, I can understand why he certainly would take it that way and feel some type of way. But I did not expect the idea of seeing Jirou in here sort of flip a switch. It almost felt like like a bestial attached himself to him. Like there's a bestial that's dormant within inside of him, that maybe comes out from time to time to have him say some of the most outlandish shit from time to time, you know? And so to be able to see his personality, where he seems for the most part a pretty fun-loving guy, to then immediately having a gripe to pick with everybody to the point of not only fighting them, but taking away their sunglasses, right? Taking away their powers and abilities for himself. There's more there than just simply, hey, I feel bad and I feel some type of way and you've made me angry, right? Like there's definitely a lot more behind it that I hope that they certainly clarify as time goes forward with this series. And I really did appreciate him sort of giving this dialogue, or monologue I should say, about the story of Jirou and Taro. And there is a part of me that wonders if that's the actual like Japanese folklore tale of Momotaro that he's certainly telling them, or like I do wonder if that's maybe what, like I wonder if that's maybe the tale that the people that he grew up with sort of told him, right? The idea that this Momotaro that came down from in this peach capsule, he was a filthy boy, you know, he was discovered by these parents sort of thing, you know, but this other peach capsule came down in order to rid people of Momotaro and, you know, his evil ways and things like that, and Jirou becomes the hero. Like, for me, I wonder if that's sort of his upbringing, if that's the story that they told him, to where that's why he's got sort of that mentality of him being somebody's replacement at the end of the day. There is a very evil side that I am kind of curious about, because look, when it comes to Momotaro, we know that he wasn't picked up by a husband and wife. He was picked up by Jin, unless the story that we're being told, unless there's more to it that we certainly don't know as of yet, right? But it does feel like maybe Jirou is kind of that polar opposite, if you will, to Taro, and really believes that he should be his replacement at some point in time and be the leader, and he's feeling some type of way about being just considered a companion. But there's definitely more there than just that, right? Because even when we get to the very battle at the end, the idea that he's like, what happened, right? Like, he doesn't remember after he winds up getting just completely slapped in the face by Oni's sister, which Haruka having the balls to just stand up to him when he's already decked out in his Don Dragoku sort of costume and power-ups and stuff. Just the open palm slap to not only get their sunglasses back, but really bring him back into reality sort of thing. I'm just not buying the whole what happened to me. I mean, maybe there is something within him that changes, that he has no control over, and we get to see the other side of him. But I do wonder if it is connected to the bestials in any capacity. I mean, considering the fact that he is, or he was, from a peach capsule himself and sort of delivered here into this world, it does have questions in regards to, like, is he part of the Don clan at all, right? Or is he part of another clan that, like, being deceived, that just they wanted to drop him off to in another peach capsule? So there's definitely a lot more intrigue and mystery to this story than anything, and I honestly cannot wait to see what else is certainly in store. But I am fascinated to learn more about Momotani, but I love the way that he was utilized in here and really giving us sort of a brief tease of what an evil ranger could certainly look like. But there's definitely more to his story. But certainly go ahead and let me know what you guys think in regards to that. A quick side mention for Don Momotaro here. I thought it was actually pretty interesting when Jirou asks him, you know, is there anybody that you look up to? And he's like, no, I don't really have anybody. Which it makes sense. Like, when you're perfect at everything and you can do and accomplish anything that you want to, there's really nobody else for you to certainly look up to. But he is at least showing a little bit more signs of understanding, right? The fact that he even showcased some mercy in this episode, apologizing, even thanking his team for certainly helping him out. It's definitely out of character for Don Momotaro, especially when we understand just what the idea notion of line certainly does to him. So when he says these things, the team certainly knows that he means it, and I think that even goes a much further, goes along a much further way. You know what I mean? So I always get a crack out of Oni's sister and Saru saying, "Say that one more time," knowing that he's certainly not going to, but they're definitely certainly trying their hardest. I also want a quick honorable mention in regards to Tsuyoshi. Him clearly not taking kindly to Miho being blamed for what happened to him, and even the suggestion of him being dumped, so much to where that really even got into his head, and he had to have a conversation with Miho in this episode in the sense of like, have you ever thought about breaking up with me? And this is where that low self-confidence certainly comes into play. But I also understand like the love that he has for Miho, you know, the fact that she goes above and beyond to not only love him but take care of him and help build his self-confidence up. He definitely has a fantastic catch there for sure, and for me, I kind of enjoy seeing the true bond that they have, even though it does annoy me that it feels like from time to time, you know, Tsuyoshi just doesn't have the confidence within himself to be able to carry it, right? He just feels so incredibly dependent on his wife and others to kind of boost his self-esteem a little bit. It is something that I would like to see him grow as this season progresses, and maybe this episode was the first step to that. That idea of Miho just putting their heads together, and she's like, look, let me help you through this, and he just keeps repeating like, you can do it, or I can do it, I can do it, right? Just that self positivity that we certainly all need, and him hearing Miho say it definitely carried over for him in battle in here, as he's really the one that wind up saving Don Momotaro's skin and giving him a breather for the rest of the team to certainly get their stuff together. So Kiji Brother had a pretty good episode in here, but again, for me, it continues to show not only the self-reliance that he has on Miho, or the reliance he has on Miho, but also just how great of a wife she truly is to this man, honestly. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And then just a last honorable mention in here, the Inu brothers scene in here just had me rolling in regards to him and Jirou. The idea that Inu brothers being treated like a dog, like homeboy literally brought him a bowl of dog food, and he just could not help himself. So the fact that we get to see Inu brother not only eating, but then when he comes up and you see the actual physical suit of Inu brother, I love like the little dog food pebbles that are still on his mask. I thought it was priceless. And then even the idea of like Shake, like trying to get him to do tricks and stuff, and he puts his paw in his hand. I mean, it was just hilarious to me, and he just runs off in shame. Like, I can't believe I did this. I'm not a dog. Like, I absolutely love the Inu brother and Jirou stuff in this episode. So brief, but absolutely hilarious, guys. But solid and really enjoyable episode, man. I really appreciated what they did with some of the characters in here, and we'll see how the remainder of this season goes. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, these are just simply my A+ opinions. I always certainly want to know yours. If there's anything that I missed, character moments, storyline details that maybe really intrigued you that you certainly want to go ahead and continue to talk about, let your thoughts be known in the comment section box below, and we'll definitely go ahead and talk about this until the next episode. But until then, guys, do me a big favor as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.